Hello and welcome to the Devil Cyborg Podcast, episode 18. I've run out of intros to say, even though I've only had 3, so welcome to the podcast. It's a fun week, because it's the week building up to WrestleMania, the biggest sports entertainment event in the calendar year. It'll be big, this podcast, because of course I'll be going through the WrestleMania Preview and predictions, and so on and so forth. But I've also got some other things to talk about, including our weekly sarahah segment, where, of course, I take questions from you guys and I answer them. So, without further ado, how about we kick into this show? So, first off, we'll do the old little, what has Devil been doing this week? And I'll tell you, quite a lot. It's very rare for me to be doing quite a lot, but I've done quite a lot. Especially, I went to see Fall Out Boy this weekend at the O2 Arena in London. This is my second time seeing Fall Out Boy, and it was extremely good, extremely fun. I had an amazing time. So what happened was, me, my girlfriend, my family, we had to take the train up to London, which is just a long journey anyway. But it wasn't too bad. Then what happened was, me and my girlfriend, because we had a hotel booked for the day, hotel booked for the night, because we didn't want to leave late and all that stuff, and just whiny stuff and all that. We had to rush to the hotel, which is in Stratford. So if anyone from London or England knows about this, North Greenwich and Stratford, even though they're very close to each other on the Jubilee line, they're very far away from each other in general. So we had to rush there and check in. The only catch was it was game day that day, so there were a lot of West Ham fans and lots of Southampton fans. Not very good if you're trying to check in a hotel and try and get back onto the underground, because there's going to be a lot of people. So luckily we were able to get out just in the nick of time. We could have got caught in a massive crowd, but luckily we didn't. What else happened? Oh yeah, of course. So after that, we went to the O2, had a nice little meal, Las Guanas, and then we went in and just sat around, kind of waited. My girlfriend got me a Fall Out Boy top, which I was really touched by. It was one of the tour tops. It's really cool, and I was touched because I literally have no money at the moment, and the fact that she's just gone out and bought me one of the tour t-shirts is amazing, especially since tour t-shirts are expensive as hell. And then the show basically started, I guess you could say, and there were 2 openers to the show. There was an artist called Max, who I'll touch on later, and there was the second opener called Against the Current, which was a band led by a female, and all I can say about it is that's all I can really say about it, really. If you are a fan of music and you like Against the Current, that's fine with me, but from my original view of them live in the O2, they weren't for me. I think the sound was kind of off because you could barely hear what the singer was saying. Like, the instruments were a bit too loud, or she was being a bit, I don't know, but it just didn't really ring sound. Didn't ring well with me, so that wasn't so good. But Max, oh boy, Max, if you can, well actually you can, but yeah, if you can, find Max on Spotify. It's the capital M, that A without the middle bit, and an X. And also the band he's in, Party Pupils. Go onto Spotify and look at their top hits, especially Miss Jackson by Party Pupils, and Savage and Lights Down Low by Max. Because, Jesus, they should have gone on second after Against the Current, because they were so energetic. The dancing was eccentric. It just brought a whole big energy into the performance, and it got the whole crowd warmed up, only to be struck back down by Against the Current. But it was so amazing, and somehow a guy who has only had one album out, was able to warm up the entire crowd. It was incredible. It was one of my favourite openers I've ever seen, and I'd heartily recommend you checking him out. If you want to follow him on social media, Max Hell's Kitchen. That's it. Max Hell's Kitchen. I think Hell's Kitchen was his first album, so now you understand. So, show starts. They come out, and it's all good. They play all their classics and stuff in the new album. It was a really good show. They played a lot. They were quite fun with the background behind it. You know, they have little Titantron behind them and all that stuff. So and showed some stuff on their classic song "I Don't Care." They had lots of gifs of people flipping the bird. That was always fun. Yeah, it was a really good one. Probably better than when I saw them before. Because last time I saw them was in Bournemouth, so seeing the O2 was a lot better. And yeah, it was really fun. I was sitting with my girlfriend, but we were standing the whole time, you know. And yeah, it was really fun. My girlfriend enjoyed it, my family enjoyed it. It was really, really good. And yeah, that was London. And the next day was Easter Sunday, which meant nearly every shop was closed, especially in the Stratford Westfield, which is where we were literally near at the hotel. So, what are you gonna do, eh? But yeah, it was a really good concert. I really enjoyed it, and that what I was doing on the weekend. Had Easter dinner. It was quite nice. We had pies. An odd thing for Easter dinner, but we had pies. We had steak and ale, steak and kidney, chicken and bacon, lush. And then for the desserts, we had a tort, a Bakewell tart, some hot cross bun and butter pudding kind of thing. It was like bread and butter pudding, but it's hot cross buns instead. And we also had some apple crumble. It's really, really good desserts. And finally, for this whole week off, yesterday, of course, I record these on Wednesdays, so hopefully you guys understand by now. Yesterday, I went to a place called 4 London Road. It's kind of like a small plates and a pizza kind of place, kind of Italianish. It was really good, very filling, and very nice interior. And I just noticed a lot of my stuff has been about food. I'm bulking up until I go back to university, because I know when I get back to university, it's back to the rations, back to the starving, and I cannot wait, he said with sarcasm. Yeah, that's what I did, and all things good, all things good. Now, of course, as I start at the start of the whole thing, I can't even speak, I apologise. WrestleMania 34 is coming up, and boy howdy, I'm excited, because there's some big matches going on. So, we'll work at how we think it's going to go. So I'll start at the pre-show and then build up to the main event as any other show would. So, these pre-show matches got announced recently. We'll have both the Battle Royals on the pre-show, as it was last year, except for the women's one is now here. And also the Cruiserweight match on the pre-show as well, as same as last year. And I've got to say, I'm quite sad about that one. I wanted them to get on the main show really badly, but what are you going to do, I guess. So yeah, we'll start with the Cruiserweight match, because that opened the show last time. And I'm hoping Mustafa Ali wins. I feel he has one of the most story and the most to win. He's doing it for his family, he's doing it for his people, he's doing it for a good reason. Cedric Alexander's like, I've been deserving this, I've worked my way up to this, and I deserve this shot now. Mustafa Ali's kind of more like, I'm happy I've got here, and I'm ready to take this chance and win the title. So I'm hoping Mustafa Ali wins, but I can see Cedric Alexander wins. It's kind of a toss-up between the two, but I'm hoping Ali wins. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Of course, the mid-card, lower mid-card, all that. only 14 people have been confirmed so far, and we don't know how large it's going to be. But if I'm going to guess right now, I'm probably have my money on Matt Hardy winning, just because he's kind of got the momentum from being Matt Hardy and his wacky antics and deletions and all that stuff. Could push him further. Some people I've talked to say Ty Dillinger might win it. Baron Corbin might win for a second year in a row. Not a second year, for a second time. But no one really knows. It's kind of a toss-up this year, but it's always kind of a toss-up. The WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. Big one. First ever. And it's no longer called the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, which is very nice. If I'm going to have to go with it, I'm going to say Becky Lynch wins, because she's needed a bit of momentum recently. Sasha Banks and Bayley have this blood feud going on, which I think might lead to their going out, I guess. Yeah, that's all I can think of so far. 13 people have been announced, so I'm thinking probably some NXT girls are going to come in. Maybe they'll have a special return as well, who knows. It's sort of a big toss-up, really. Going away from that, we'll go to what I think is going to open the match. Open the show. And it's going to have to be something that's reliable. It's going to really pump the crowd up, you know? Something like Shane vs. AJ was with all the spots and all that. It was a good opener. And if I have to guess, The Miz versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor might open the show. I say this because Seth Rollins and Finn Balor are good workers. They can put on good performances, and The Miz can entertain, and it can build up the crowd quite well for the matches coming up. That's what I believe, at least. So I think that's what's going to open the show, and I'm liking the triple threat action. There is quite a few multi-man. There's 3 multi-man matches on the show. But I'm going to go for Seth Rollins, because The Miz, he's had it for quite a while, since Raw 25, yeah. And in honesty, he kind of needs to expand his character outside of just, I'm the greatest intercontinental champion ever. They could easily push him towards feuding with Roman again. But I think Seth's going to win, because even though Finn Balor deserves something after his injury, that he had to vacate the Universal Championship, I think Seth deserves it. It will get him his Grand Slam, and with the other Shield members, and it's crazy that Seth's the last one of the Shield to get it, which is crazy. Seth's the one who's probably the most talented of the 3. So the fact that Seth hasn't got it yet, I think they'll rectify that at WrestleMania, make a big, second biggest WrestleMania moment for Seth Rollins. Of course, unless we count him vanquishing Triple H as his second biggest and his third. It's a good top 3. Good top 3. Next up, I'm going to go for a cheeky, when I say cheeky in the shortest sense, actually, I'm just going to work how this goes. Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Looking at it, I was going KO and Sami Zayn earlier. Like, they must win, or else they're going to be 5 forever. However, looking at it, and a lot of people going like, they will not come back to SmackDown Live, the whole wording of that is making me think, okay, so Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon are going to win then. So my prediction is Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens versus... no. Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon win. Yeah. I think that's going to happen. Yeah, totally. Which means I do need to change one of the forms, so I'm just going to change that now. But anyway, there we go. Next up, Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie McMahon always gets a comeuppance at WrestleMania, I feel. And Ronda's debuting. I feel like Ronda kind of has to win, especially because Triple H likes to lose at Mania as well. Yeah, I'm going to say Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey win this match, this mixed tag team match. They're always going to put in a mixed tag team match at Mania, aren't they? from now on. Like John Cena and Nikki Bella versus Miz and Maurice. Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. What next? I cannot imagine at all. Next up, the Usos, who are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, versus the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers. So I think that the New Day are going to win. A lot of people might be thinking, Ted, what are you smoking right now? And I can assure you I'm not smoking anything, and I have a legitimate reason for picking the New Day. And that's because I think that it's going to be one of those surprises, you know? Yeah, I think it's going to be a massive surprise. It's going to come out of nowhere and all that stuff. Like, it might be like one of those, when Dolph Ziggler got inserted into that US Championship match and then he won it. Like, I think it might be a shock like that. Like New Day taking advantage of something. And I think it might be very, very good. It should be a good match, at least. Especially because it's triple threat action. It will be no DQ, which means hammers are flying. The Usos are flying. Pancakes are flying, maybe. Who knows? I'd like to see the New Day entrance. I can't wait for that. So that should be really good. Next up, Cesaro and Sheamus versus Braun Strowman and To Be Discussed. To Be Determined. I think I've put Cesaro and Sheamus to win this. I'm gonna have to double check. I have put the Cesaro and Sheamus to beat them because I feel like maybe Braun Strowman might pick someone and Cesaro and Sheamus might take advantage of the weaker person, I guess, and steal the win, and Braun Strowman might beat up his person after that, because I don't see Braun Strowman just winning the tag team championships as some random person. It would be fun, but I don't think it would be booked that easily nowadays. So I'm going to say Cesaro and Sheamus retain. Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. Are you ready for this? I've got Charlotte Flair to win. Of course, this comes at the expense of Asuka's streak, but I'm going for it. I'm going for Charlotte Flair to beat Asuka. I don't see Asuka making the jump to SmackDown Live, because Asuka is probably one of the biggest names. I think if we had to take one or the other, it's going to be Charlotte Flair. My only other outcome is it ends in a draw between the two, like a double count out maybe, or like a time limit if they add time limits in, you know, that kind of stuff, or a double DQ. You never know. Like, it wouldn't be fun, but all that. And maybe after that, because if, for example, Carmella cashes in, this is my plan here. If Carmella cashes in, that means that when she cashes in, it will be her versus Charlotte, and therefore Asuka's streak is still intact. And then Carmella can become SmackDown Live Women's Champion, and maybe Charlotte comes back to Raw, that kind of stuff, and the feud can be continued and all. That would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. Nia Jax is going to win this because if they seriously put over Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania, then I'm probably going to cry my eyes out, because it just shouldn't be happening. If it does, then I'm very, very sad. But hopefully they put Nia over and then they can do feuds with Nia after. Next up, Randy Orton versus Bobby Roode versus Jinder Mahal versus Rusev. Big match, and I've got Randy Orton retaining this, even though the popularity of Rusev is soaring. Jinder Mahal has 1.3 billion people to defend, and Bobby Roode is glorious. They're not going to have Randy Orton just have the championship for 1 month. Surely not. And I'll take that to my grave. Surely they're not going to have him just defend it. What? No, he hasn't even he's unsuccessfully defend it. I don't see it happening at all. Next up, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I've got Nakamura winning this. I feel it's time for Nakamura to get the main roster success he deserved on Impact, and this will be the greatest way to do so, beating AJ Styles, dream match and all that stuff. I think he could have some killer feuds coming out of it. So I'm quite excited for that. And the main event, as everyone's calling it, which probably is going to be the main event, to be honest, is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Now, I mean, it's Roman Reigns going to win, Brock Lesnar going to go away. It's kind of black and white on the whole situation. It's just kind of, we've known this for a while. It's just, we've been waiting for it to happen. And the good thing is, after, it means that everything that happens after is going to be unpredictable. We're not going to be able to predict things that happen. Like, for a lot of the Universal Championship matches throughout the year, it's been like, oh, well, it's not going to be, we're not going to have Braun or Samoa Joe or any of the others beat him, because he's going to be beaten by Roman Reigns and all that stuff. That's all that's been happening. So it's going to be Roman Reigns, and it's sucky to have. It really is sucky to have. But the good thing is, what we can look forward to is after no one will know what happens with WWE. Because we've known this plan for such a long time now, and finally we're on track to getting this WWE where there's no, oh, Roman's going to face Brock at Mania, or anything else like that. We're finally going to be getting it, so we're going to be getting it so that we can finally just have a WWE where, sure, Roman's still booked strong and all that, and he's champion, but it's better because we don't know when he's going to lose it. It's now unpredictable again. So, that's my WrestleMania preview. I'm sorry for getting quite philosophical and all that at the end, but explanations and all that, you know. Actually, maybe I should do NXT TakeOver quite quickly. Let's do it. NXT TakeOver, New Orleans. So you'd have been watching NXT if you've listened to this podcast, or if you're not a wrestling fan. Hi. The matches are scheduled for NXT TakeOver New Orleans. We have Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in an unsanctioned match. If Gargano wins, Ciampa, he'll be reinstated to NXT, but if Ciampa wins, Gargano will be banned from NXT. Of course, that's an unsanctioned match, which means anything goes. Hey. I think, I don't remember what I put, because all my picks are somewhere. If I put Gargano, I swear I put Gargano, oh my god. Maybe Gargano's time isn't done in NXT. Maybe he is still going to have some shots at it. I don't know. I feel like they're going to have to keep this feud going. Like, Ciampa's like, he won't go, why won't he go, and all that stuff. So I've got Gargano winning. Why not? Ladder match for the NXT North American Championship. Have you seen it? It looks so old school. We've got Adam Cole, Bebe, versus EC3 versus Killian Dane versus Lars Sullivan versus Ricochet versus the Velveteen Dream. DREAM is. Jesus, it's raining hard outside. Oh man, I'm just getting off track. I think that the Velveteen Dream is going to win this. Have I said that? No, I didn't. I said EC3 is going to win this. It's a toss-up. I think Velveteen Dream could win it because he's been on a roll, really. He's been on a roll and he deserves something so far. Adam Cole could win it because Adam Cole. But I put EC3 because he's new. He's kind of got this cockiness and swagger and could really make some shockwaves as he wins it straight away. He's great charisma and could really get this massive push as well. Also on the spot that Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly are defending the NXT Tag Team Championships because Bobby Fish is still injured. Hey! Onto that, the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, versus the Authors of Pain and Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne, versus for the NXT Tag Team Championship and the Dusty Rhodes Classic Tag Team Classic Trophy. Now that's cheeky. I feel that somehow Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly are going to successfully defend their tag team championships. Even though Adam Cole's ladder match might be beforehand, I don't know. It depends on order. If Adam Cole's already had his ladder match, then it might be Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne, which I don't see happening really. It's difficult because Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly are kind of the only people who you could really see staying on NXT. Authors Pain probably going to be moved up after Mania, and Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne, like Pete Dunne, not on NXT enough, and Roderick Strong's probably moving up to 205 Live soon. So it's difficult to say. I think the Undisputed Era might win. I think. I don't know. I think. Next up, for the NXT Women's Championship, your Ember Moon versus Shayna Baszler. And I see Baszler winning this because Emma's moving up. It's plain to see. She's going to move up after Mania. So Shayna Baszler's going to get the belt, brutalize her, and all that stuff. I could say this, like, nicer, but it's just plain simple, really. Cut and paper and all that stuff. And finally, the main event, Andrade Cien Almas with Zelina Vega versus Aleister Black for the NXT Championship. Aleister Black's winning this. Getting this big NXT moment. He's built up so well, and he deserves this after the amazing matches he's been putting on at takeovers. And Almas is going to move up, I think. So you got Almas, Ember, and Wolf Spain moving up, I think, after Mania. Yeah. And that's my NXT Takeover New Orleans predictions. So, next up, we've got the final segment of the show, and it's the sarahah Q&As. And we've got 5 questions, I think that's the same as last time. So let's start off with what I got first, and we'll go further. So, first off, we got, what is your biggest regret? Big question, I must say, big question. If I have to be honest, my biggest regret is maybe... I haven't thought this one through, you can tell. My biggest regret isn't putting enough work as I should have done into my studies. Like, I got out of secondary school and college with good enough grades, but I could have been something bigger, you know, if I did really study, and it is a testament to revising. I do suggest if you are still in college or still in secondary school, even if you're in university, just revise, study, and make the most of it, because it does mean a lot. A lot of people say revising doesn't do anything. I can tell you it does a lot. So I think my biggest regret is not revising enough. If you became an indie wrestler, what would your gimmick and finisher be? If I became an indie wrestler, my gimmick... I've actually thought this through, actually. I don't know why I'm even thinking about this. If I became an indie wrestler, my gimmick would be an impersonator. I'd kind of cockily come out to the ring, impersonate them a bit, like their entrance, and then kind of come down to the ring, kind of take away some of their mannerisms and stuff like that. My finisher would probably be copying the other person's finisher. That's kind of all I can think right now. What's your take on the 0 divided by 0 problem? Actually, I've got it straight for you, and I know you've heard this before. What is 0 divided by 0?
Imagine that you have 0 cookies and you split them evenly among 0 friends. How many cookies does each person get? See, it doesn't make sense. And Cookie Monster is sad that there are no cookies. And you are sad that you have no friends.
And I think that sums it up quite well. If a cat always lands on its feet and a buttered bread always lands butter side down, what would happen if you tied buttered bread on top of a cat? See, this is poorly written, because you could just put the buttered bread onto the cat, which is kind of rude, but then it would land on its feet. But as we all know, if you put buttered bread face up on top of a cat, we all know that it would spin around indefinitely and create a portal that rips space-time continuum. So I would suggest, if you are going to do it, be careful. That's all I can suggest. And last question, just to round this off, and it's a very wholesome one. Do you prefer tacos or pizza? My favourite food is pepperoni pizza, and tacos are hard to eat. So, pizza. And that sums it up quite well for this episode. It's quite a nice one. Unless I talked about WrestleMania or just wrestling just takes so much time. It goes for so long. But anyway, thank you for watching. Next episode is either going to be a special or it's going to be the WrestleMania review. So the special might be a live Twitch podcast as I watch and kind of review at the same time WrestleMania, which is going to be mad because it's going to be like very early morning for me. So that might be fun. If that does not go ahead, then I will be doing the next podcast episode next Thursday at 8 PM GMT. We'll have a former guest, Tagman Beasley, as me and him review WrestleMania, and it may go on for 40 minutes as a special, or maybe an hour if you know. I don't know. I don't really know. But yes, thank you for watching. That was loud outro music. Thank you for watching the Devil Cyborg Podcast. I will be back next week with episode 19. But as always, eat your vegetables and brush your teeth.